Hello everybody, this is Wolfgang von Latman with chaliceofimmortality.com. Here in this video today, I want to talk a little bit about Bob Harper. Now, I made a video previously about Bob Harper and the possible causes of his heart attack and whatnot. And, since then I've actually encountered a lot of just pretty interesting information that a lot of people don't seem to know or don't seem to care about. Before I begin, though, I want to just say that, I wish Bob Harper the best. I actually, I have nothing against the guy. I think he's a great guy from what I can see. But this really needs to be talked about, and it needs to be brought into the open. So Bob Harper, he was vegan from 2010. From 2010 to 2013, and then in 2013 he started to include what a lot of people don't realize, low-fat animal products into his diet. I know that he was doing low-fat animal products in his diet because you could still, to this day, at the time of making this video, go on his Instagram and scroll all the way down to 2015, 2016, leading up to his heart attack. You could see all of the food that he ate. He literally still has it on there. It's crazy to me because, I see vegans all over YouTube making comments and posting articles on blogs and shit saying that Bob Harper, died because of saturated fat and cholesterol. But the fact is, his actual eating habits, if you actually look at his actual Instagram posts, he eats egg whites, turkey, chicken, okay? Looking back on those things, I think it's fascinating because you can actually go back and see. He literally, he was eating egg white sandwiches, he was eating turkey, and you don't see saturated fats hardly at all in his diet. I mean, if he was a big proponent of saturated fats and whatnot, like everyone thinks he was, then don't you think he would have been eating the whole egg instead of the egg white? Don't you think why would he be wasting his time with chicken and turkey? But if you go back in his Instagram posts, is exactly what you see, egg whites. And on some of his posts, he said, egg white sandwich on Ezekiel bread with peanut butter as my fat. Okay, so when he thinks of healthy fats, he used to think of nut butters and shit. So vegan sources of fat. So I think it's just crazy. This guy did not eat as much saturated fat and cholesterol as people think, and I'll get to why people think that. But yet vegans are going around claiming that, oh, it's all the saturated fat and cholesterol you ate. So here's the reason why people think that he was a big proponent of saturated fat and blah blah blah, and why he died because of saturated fat, or why he had a heart attack because of saturated fat. Because he came out on the Rachel Ray show or something like that, some kind of talk show, and was talking about Bulletproof Coffee. Okay, so first of all, what people need to understand is the man is he was like a famous fitness guru at the time. And he was on that show, The Biggest Loser, so everybody knew who he was. Okay, Jesus Christ, I'm sorry everybody, but these fitness gurus need to make money somehow. And so they, now, I don't know for sure, right? But this is just my opinion on things, okay? Look, the Bulletproof Coffee and whatnot, maybe they endorse some of these fitness gurus and have them go up and promote their products as if they actually drink their products when they really don't, just to get it to the general public. Okay, you ever thought about that? It's very, very common. You got to be a complete moron to not understand this. Now, I went back and I can't find any posts of this guy, Bob Harper, drinking Bulletproof Coffee or eating saturated fat at all. As a matter of fact, I see the opposite. I see him egg white sandwiches, turkey, no whole eggs, no red meat, no butter. All I see is just plain Jane I see wine, I see tea, and I see egg whites and whatnot. And this is before his heart attack. He had his heart attack in February of 2017. I'm looking at posts from 2015 and 2016. Okay, even though he went on like some talk show and was talking about Bulletproof Coffee, it didn't seem to like he was drinking it. Or even if he was, he's eating like no saturated fat in any other meal. So I mean, that's the first thing. Like vegans saying like, oh, it's all the saturated fat. Like, dude, that guy did not eat that much at all. And even if he did have Bulletproof Coffee, let's just say that he did drink Bulletproof Coffee, okay? All of his other meals had no saturated fat in it at all. And now I know, you know, vegans assume that like, oh, saturated fat and cholesterol, it's even in like small amounts, you know, Bulletproof Coffee, even if that's the only saturated fat that you have or whatever, then it's enough to give you a heart attack. But the fact of the matter is, you know, there's millions of people eating more saturated fat than that, because that's really not that much. I know you might think a tablespoon of butter and a tablespoon of coconut oil is a lot, but believe it or not, there are a lot of people who eat a lot more than that, and they've been doing it for much longer than Bob Harper would have, and they don't suffer heart attacks. Now, correlation does not equal causation, but it's important to point that out, first of all. Second of all, just the fact that all he ate was fat-free this and fat-free that, and now people are like saying that fat causes damn heart attack. What the fuck? Like, retarded. Like, this really gives these, you know, vegans a bad name when they go around talking about nonsense that legitimately doesn't even, it's not even based in facts. If you actually, like, yeah, the talk show shit, yeah, I can understand that, but if you dig a little bit deeper and you went on his Instagram, you would have seen he didn't even eat that shit. So there's that. And I can even take this even further. When you look at the reports on his heart attack, no one mentioned blocked arteries. There's no blocked arteries, okay? The doctors have specifically said like, oh, a lipoprotein. Most people don't even know what a lipoprotein even is. Okay, people think that cholesterol is fat. No, cholesterol is not fat. Cholesterol is a lipoprotein. It's a protein that carries lipids. It's a carrier. It carries fats. It's not fat itself. Jesus Christ. You know, everyone's all talking like they know what like, oh, I know what I'm talking about. You know, blah, blah, blah. The science this, the science that. Bitch, you don't even know the fucking science. You don't know what you're talking about. But millions of people, you know, they get all gung-ho and they go around talking all this shit. And all it is shit. It's not based in facts. It's not the facts that they think it is. And it really fucking sucks because they're misinforming people and they have a false sense of intelligence that isn't actually there. Anyway, like I was saying, they claim that he had a genetic predisposition to heart disease or whatever because of lipoprotein A or something. So I don't believe it was genetic, but they mention a lipoprotein but not a blocked artery. No blockages, no arteriosclerosis. So if there's no arteriosclerosis and no blocking of the arteries, I mean, when we hear about saturated fat and cholesterol causing heart disease, I mean, it's almost always, well, it builds up in your arteries and blocks them over time. It clogs them over time. All that fat's going to clog your arteries. We don't hear all that fat's going to raise your blood markers of, you know, cholesterol or LDL or lipoprotein A, and just because you have that lipoprotein in your bloodstream, you instantly have a heart attack. There's a lot of people who think like, oh, cholesterol, heart attack, and a lot of people mistakenly say like, oh, high cholesterol equals heart attack. But what most people are failing to understand is it's all about clogging the arteries. That is the correlation people make between high levels of lipoproteins or cholesterol or fat and heart disease is the blocking of the arteries, okay? And that involves a 3-step process. It's inflammation, then it's damage to the artery, then it's inflammation, and then they use cholesterol to patch up the damage. And the theory is that cholesterol collects over time and clogs the artery. The point is, though, there was no blockages reported. And so if there's no blockages reported, then once again, even more skepticism starts to arise from like this idea that, you know, all the fat in his diet caused the heart disease or whatever. Listen, he didn't eat fat other than like peanut butter and shit. And then I guess Bulletproof Coffee, according to his talk on that show, but his Instagram posts don't fucking show that. So, I mean, he posted pictures and whatnot of what he ate every day and didn't have any fat in it besides peanut butter. And then there was no blockages in his arteries, but somehow fat caused his heart disease. If he didn't eat any fat, how the fuck is that possible? Okay? And then if he did eat fat and the fat caused the heart disease or whatever, the heart attack, why is there no blockages? Right? The fat caused lipoprotein A to rise, but what does it matter? There's that lipoprotein A or whatever that's supposedly genetic. If it didn't clog an artery, how did it cause a heart attack? You know, that shit does not make sense. But I'll tell you, and I hope everyone stayed to this point in the video, because right away I had a feeling that there was that it was this. So I don't know for sure, but as I said in my previous video, listen, when you have money on the line, when you're a famous health guru or you're a famous fitness expert or whatever, and your whole entire career revolves around looking fit and looking lean, okay, it's not uncommon for people to take weight loss drugs. Now, I'm not accusing him of taking drugs or anything, but I'm just saying that it's very common for these famous fitness people to be taking steroids or especially weight cutting drugs. Like Harper doesn't look like a roider at all. Like he's always been super skinny, almost like super small, and he wasn't lifting any impressive weights around that time. But you know, there were reports of contestants on The Biggest Loser coming out saying that they were trying to get them to take Adderall or something like that to lose weight. And so we don't know if that's true, but that just gives you some more insight into, well, maybe there was some type of stimulant involved, right? Maybe it was some kind of pre-workout. Maybe it was a diuretic. Maybe it could have been some type of herbal supplement. We don't know. But I'm just saying, I've seen a huge trend with athletes suffering from cardiac arrest. By the way, it was a cardiac arrest, not a heart attack. There's a big difference. Cardiac arrest usually comes on from the heart muscle just giving out. And a heart attack is when the blood doesn't pump, and when the heart doesn't get enough blood circulation coming to it. Big difference, okay? So cardiac arrest is when, you could say the heart is overexerted, usually from amphetamines or something like that, and extreme exercise. And also electrolyte imbalances. Versus heart attack, which is usually arteriosclerosis or something blocking the arteries, okay? So, to me, it just seems like there's got to be a more, an obvious but secret kind of reason for that, okay? And it's very, very common for athletes to use these stimulant drugs or stimulant supplements, weight loss supplements in general. And these can definitely cause heart issues, okay? It's well known, well documented, okay? So like arrhythmias, electrolyte imbalances, all sorts of things can happen from weight loss drugs and weight loss supplements. So, and I don't know. I'm just throwing things out there that sound, that are common. Now, there's one more thing, and maybe it was genetic. I don't think so. I don't really believe in that kind of nonsense, but maybe it was. But I can tell you one thing, looking back at his posts, doesn't look like the guy was too fond of saturated fats at all. It didn't seem like he was into that at all. He literally ate egg white sandwiches, chicken, and all that stuff, okay? Ezekiel bread and stuff. So, let's see. So I mean right here, let's see, September 27th, 2016. Today for my meal after my workout, grilled chicken with veggie melody and white rice. Okay, that's from, you know, a couple months before his heart attack. Okay, and there's no fat in there. It's grilled chicken, very, very low in fat. Okay, saturated fat. There's maybe a gram, if even that. You know, vegans will try to say, oh, well, it could still cause a heart attack. Like, dude, no, seriously. Okay, here's another one, September 29th, 2016. Today's second meal, triple-decker egg white sandwich with fresh salsa. Okay, egg white sandwich. Okay, egg white. There's not, like, there's hardly any fat at all in any of this nonsense. And yet, vegans want to claim that it was his thing or whatever. People want to claim it was fat. Okay, here's a really good one. October 13th, 2016. Lunch at home today. Leftover turkey burger from Rachel Ray and a Ezekiel bread tortilla. My fat was a spoonful of peanut butter. My fat was a spoonful of peanut butter. Okay, was it the peanut butter? Right, the peanut butter magically clogged his arteries? The guy seemed to have been following macro, like a typical calorie restriction, macronutrient counting type thing, okay? A spoonful of peanut butter, okay? There's no, and then egg whites and turkey. Like, dude, what the fuck? And I think it's all because of that little stint he pulled on that talk show talking about Bulletproof Coffee. I don't think he drank Bulletproof Coffee, okay? There's not even any pictures of that on his Instagram. Maybe he deleted them. I don't think so. It doesn't make sense for somebody to put spoonfuls of oil and butter in his coffee, but then do like low-fat everything else. I mean, you know, there are people who do Diet Coke, but then they eat like a Big Mac with French fries, so you never know. But I don't think that was the case, okay? I think people have their information fucked up. So it's probably something else that I mentioned in this video, in my last video that I made about this. And so what is this, why is this so important? Well, this is important so that people don't get the wrong idea from all these vegans and whatnot, thinking that, you know, high amounts of saturated fat and whatnot, or just fat in general, is gonna kill you. Now, I will say that, you know, for most people, like, you don't need to be eating a lot of like full-fat dairy. You don't need to be eating a lot of saturated fat. I'm not saying it's good for you, and I'm not saying that, you know, you should just say fuck it and eat a bunch of saturated fat. What I'm saying is, the data shows, what it actually shows is excessive amounts of isolated nutrients that are not found in whole foods is likely to be the cause, okay, or likely to contribute towards these diseases. That means isolated sugar, which is what people mean when they say processed sugar, you know, white sugar, vegetable oils, and butter. I would say lots of butter, like unusual amounts of butter. These things are probably like the closest whole foods, like, to contribute. But I mean, even then, you know, when you look at everybody around you that has heart disease and you look at the data, I can tell you that's most likely just processed foods in general. When people consume high amounts of frozen dinners, fast food, hydrogenated oils, deep fried chicken, and French fries, like, that's what the vast majority of people that get heart disease eat. Okay, I've seen it with all my family members. I've seen it all around me, and the data suggests this as well. Processed red meats, etc., processed sugars, too much vegetable oil, not enough omega-3s, and low fiber intake and low overall nutrient intake. Okay, these are the causes of most diseases. And an excess of saturated fat might cause something, but if you look, I mean, there's too many ketogenic dieters that have been doing it for years, even at older ages. Too many of them that don't suffer heart disease for you to just kind of claim that they're the, you know, that's what it is, you know. And this is the unbiased truth. And also, when you look at the science, once again, the populations that consume the most processed foods are the ones that seem to get these diseases, you know. And I've made plenty of videos on why, you know, claiming, oh, carnivore societies, you know, that's not accurate. These diseases, or these studies that are done, population studies on people who, you know, meat eaters versus vegans. Look, the meat eaters that these studies usually reference also consume a lot of processed sugars, carbohydrates and other things, and vegetable oils and whatnot, in addition to meat. How many people do you know that go to a restaurant? How many do you know that just eat a steak? None. They eat a steak, they eat French fries, they eat, they put dressing on their salad, which has a bunch of vegetable oils. French fries are usually deep fried in vegetable oil, which is the worst thing you can eat. You know, and then what about like chicken, right? How the vast, like probably the largest amount of chicken in America are deep fried chicken. Okay, it's fried chicken. That's the worst thing you can eat. Not because of the chicken, but because it's fried in oil. Okay? And then the amount of sodium that's in all this shit too. On top of the fact that these people eat fried chicken with French fries and mashed potatoes and gravy, but where the fuck are their vegetables? So it's just a whole bunch of processed, deep fried, artificial foods with a side of meat and no vegetables. Okay? So, you know, Bob Harper didn't eat all these processed foods and things. He also didn't eat much fat. But, you know, he was very, very lean year round, it looked like. Did all this CrossFit stuff. And I don't know. Maybe there were supplements involved. Maybe it was a genetic disorder. But I don't think he was fat. Okay? Look at his Instagram. Seriously. Okay, I already showed pictures if you could even see them. And his Instagram page is literally just Bob Harper. So I'm sure you could find that. So you should probably go ahead and check it out or whatever. Alright, so that's all I'm going to say in this video. Leave your questions and comments down below. Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you soon.